Welcome to my channel, Lobby 22. Hold on because it's going to be something incredible. Lucas Hart sat in his sleek Seattle office, the Space Needle glinting through the window. At 35, he'd carved out a life most envied: senior manager at a tech startup, a modern condo in Belltown, and a decade-long marriage to Nora, his college sweetheart. Their story was a fairy tale, meeting at 19 in a UW lecture hall, surviving long-distance love, and marrying at 25. Lucas believed their bond was unbreakable, a fortress of loyalty. But a single phone call was about to detonate his world. His phone buzzed, an unknown number flashing. Lucas frowned. Spam calls were relentless, but the Seattle area code matched Nora's marketing firm. Lucas Hart, he answered, expecting a client. "Mr. Hart, this is Owen Tate, a coworker of Nora's," a tense voice said. "We need to meet. It's urgent. Can you get to Pike Place Market, the coffee shop by the fish stand, at 1 p.m.? Is Nora okay?" Lucas's grip tightened, his mind racing. She'd left that morning with a quick hug, her smile as radiant as ever. "She's fine," Owen replied, his tone clipped. "But this is about her. I can't say more over the phone." Lucas's stomach nodded. "All right, 1 p.m. He hung up, staring at his desk. Owen Tate. The name was unfamiliar. Nora rarely mentioned her colleagues, and Lucas trusted her implicitly. Or had until now. Betrayal was a ghost from Lucas's past. His father, a charismatic lawyer, had cheated repeatedly, leaving Lucas's mother, Diane, broken. Late-night arguments, lipstick on shirts, and Diane's quiet sobs had shaped Lucas's childhood. She stayed until Lucas was 14, then left, rebuilding her life with fierce resolve. Her strength was his mantra: never tolerate deceit. Nora's warmth and honesty had seemed like salvation, their vows a shield against his father's sins. But Owen's call cracked that shield. At the coffee shop, Lucas spotted Owen, a wiry man in his late 30s, glasses fogged from the steam of his latte. "Thanks for coming," Owen said, pushing a coffee toward Lucas. "I'll be direct. Nora's been getting close with Jace Warner, a guy from our firm. Long lunches, late nights, and I overheard them planning a weekend getaway: dinner, drinks, and a suite at the Fairmont Olympic tomorrow." Lucas's coffee went cold in his hands. "You're saying she's cheating?" His voice was calm, but his pulse thundered. Owen nodded. "I saw them at a bar last week, too cozy. Jace is a player, always chasing someone. Nora's been flirty. She thinks you're too busy to notice, that you'll let it slide." Lucas's jaw tightened. "Why tell me?" Owen's eyes darkened. "My wife cheated 2 years ago. No one told me. I found out when she left. You deserve better." He slid a napkin with Jace's name and the Fairmont details scribbled on it. "Do what you need to." Lucas left, his mind a storm. His Nora, planning a weekend with another man? It felt impossible. But the specifics, Fairmont, suite, tomorrow, gnawed him. Driving back to the office, he barely saw the road. Could she believe he'd ignore this? That he'd be like his mother, swallowing pain for love? In his office, Lucas's shock turned to steel. He wasn't Diane. He wouldn't wait for proof to crush him. He Googled private investigators and found Riley Voss, a former cop with a reputation for airtight evidence. "I need answers," Lucas told her over the phone. "Tomorrow, Fairmont Olympic. Track Nora Hart and Jace Warner. Photos, audio, everything." "Got it," Riley said, her voice steady. "I'll have a team ready." "Audio's extra, want it?" "Yes," Lucas said. "I need the truth, no matter how ugly." Hanging up, Lucas felt a cold clarity. If Nora was innocent, he'd apologize and move on. But if Owen was right, he'd be prepared. He thought of his father's smug denials, his mother's tear-streaked face. Never again, he'd sworn. Nora knew his deal-breaker: infidelity was non-negotiable, clear from their first date. If she'd crossed that line, she'd misjudged him fatally. That evening, Lucas entered their condo, the scent of Nora's Thai takeout lingering. She greeted him with a kiss, her auburn hair catching the light. "Rough day?" she asked, her smile effortless. "Just busy," he lied, mirroring her ease. Every fiber wanted to confront her, to demand answers. But Riley's advice rang clear: don't spook her. "Let me get the evidence." So Lucas played the part, stirring curry while Nora rambled about a client pitch. Her warmth was either genuine or a chilling lie. Both possibilities shook him. After dinner, they streamed a movie. Nora curled against him. Lucas's mind churned. Was she planning her getaway now, behind that smile? When she went to shower, he checked her phone, nothing suspicious, no texts from Jace. Either she was meticulous or he was paranoid. He set it down, heart racing. At midnight, Nora slept, her breathing soft. Lucas stared at the ceiling, tomorrow looming. She'd either prove her loyalty or destroy their life. Riley's text buzzed. "Team set. Fairmont covered." Update by Saturday night. Lucas closed his eyes, bracing for impact. Whatever truth awaited, he'd face it with eyes wide open. Lucas Hart tossed in bed, the Seattle skyline a blur beyond his condo's floor-to-ceiling windows. Sleep eluded him, Nora's possible betrayal a vice around his chest. Riley Voss, his private investigator, had texted at dawn. Surveillance ready. Fairmont Olympic wired. Full report tonight. Lucas stared at the message, his resolve sharpening like a blade. Today, he'd uncover the truth about his wife. Nora stirred beside him, her auburn hair fanned across the pillow. "Morning, love," she murmured, brushing his arm before heading to the kitchen. Lucas forced a nod, his heart a tangle of dread and defiance. At his tech startup, Lucas plowed through meetings, pitching software updates to investors with a practiced smile. But his mind was elsewhere. Nora hadn't mentioned her plans for the evening, which fueled his suspicion. Was she really meeting Jace Warner at the Fairmont, as Owen had claimed? Lucas's childhood scars, his father's lies, his mother's quiet pain, resurfaced. He'd sworn never to be the fool. If Nora thought he'd overlook her betrayal, she was about to face a reckoning. By 4 p.m., Lucas was home, the condo eerily silent. Nora's SUV was in the garage, but no dinner prep greeted him. A break from routine. Upstairs, he found her slipping into a crimson dress, her makeup meticulous. A leather overnight bag sat on their bed, packed. Lucas's stomach twisted, but he kept his tone light. Going somewhere special? Nora glanced at him via the mirror, her smile tight. Just a night out with work friends. Dinner, maybe some drinks. Thought I'd treat myself. She zipped the bag, her movements brisk. Lucas's pulse surged. Work friends? Like who? He leaned against the doorframe, masking his fury. She shrugged, adjusting her necklace. You know, the usual crew. Jace is organizing it. It's no big deal, Lucas. You're always buried in work. I need a break sometimes. Her casual tone was a gut punch. Jace Warner. Lucas's voice hardened. You're spending the night with him? Nora, that's not okay. Her eyes flashed with annoyance. Don't overreact. It's just drinks and dancing. I'll be back tomorrow. You're making this bigger than it is. She slung the bag over her shoulder, heading downstairs. Lucas followed, his voice low and firm. Nora, if you walk out for a night with another man, we're done. I'm serious. A car horn sounded outside. That's my ride, she said, brushing past. Lucas blocked her path, his hand raised. Don't do this. Please. She sighed, pecking his cheek. You're being dramatic, Lucas. We'll talk tomorrow. Relax. She sidestepped him, her heels echoing on the hardwood. If you leave, don't come back, he called, his voice cracking. Nora paused at the door, then chuckled. You'll get over it. See you soon. The door slammed shut. Lucas stood rooted, the silence deafening. Then action took over. He activated the voice recorder Riley had suggested, capturing their exchange. He moved with purpose, packing Nora's belongings, dresses, shoes, her favorite novels, into suitcases. Her perfumes, her laptop, even her framed wedding photo went into her SUV, parked on the street. He left the keys on the seat. By 8 p.m., her presence was erased from the condo. A locksmith arrived at 9, securing new locks. The space was his again. Sleep was impossible, Nora's dismissive chuckle replaying in his mind. At 11:30 p.m., Riley texted, Got them. Fairmont Suite. Video and audio secured. Sending clip now. A blurry video followed. Nora and Jace, arm in arm, laughing as they entered a suite, his hand grazing her back. Lucas's heart fractured, but his resolve held. He forwarded the clip to his lawyer, Elise Morrow, with a note. Start divorce proceedings. Need papers by Monday. Saturday morning, Lucas sat with cold coffee, the condo a hollow shell. The doorbell chimed, and Nora stood there, bag in hand, frowning. My key's not working. And why's my car on the street with my stuff? You don't live here anymore, Lucas said, his voice ice. Your things are in your SUV. Take them and go. Nora's eyes widened. Lucas, this is our home. You can't just kick me out. I warned you, he said, stepping closer. You chose Jace. The condo's in my name and my mom co-signed. She's with me on this. You're out. He shut the door as Nora pounded, her shouts muffled. When she persisted, he opened it again. Keep going, and I call the police. You're unhinged, she yelled. But Lucas closed the door, locking it. Through the window, he saw her slump into her SUV. Defeated. Riley texted, full evidence ready. It's airtight. Meet Monday, 10 a.m.? Lucas replied, confirmed. He sank onto the couch, the weight of his actions settling. Nora had underestimated him. This was only the beginning. Lucas Hart sat in his Seattle condo, the city's neon glow a stark contrast to the storm within. Nora's betrayal, captured in Riley Voss's damning footage, had stripped away the illusion of their marriage. The Fairmont Olympic video, Nora and Jace Warner laughing, slipping into a suite, burned in his mind. Yet Lucas's focus was razor-sharp. His lawyer, Elise Morrow, was prepping divorce papers, and Riley's evidence was a ticking bomb. But a new twist from Riley hinted Nora's deception ran deeper than an affair. Lucas wasn't just fighting for freedom, he was dismantling her lies. Monday morning, Lucas met Riley at a tucked-away diner near Pioneer Square. She slid a USB drive across the table, her eyes steady. This is the full package, she said. Video, audio, timestamps, 3 hours in that suite. But there's more. Jace left his phone open during a break. I got texts showing he's been funneling money from their firm's client accounts. Nora knew and covered for him. Lucas's grip on his coffee mug tightened. She's in on his fraud? His voice was low, disbelief laced with anger. Riley nodded. Texts between them confirm it. She didn't just cheat, she's complicit in his scam. Jace is cocky, thinks he's untouchable. Their firm's already auditing him, though. He's sloppy. She tapped the USB. This could bury them both. Use it carefully. Lucas pocketed the drive, his mind spinning. Nora wasn't just unfaithful, she was entangled in Jace's crimes. The woman he'd loved for a decade was a stranger. Anything else on her? He asked. She's been digging, Riley said. Emails to a lawyer friend, trying to find dirt on you, tax records, old deals, anything to flip this. She's desperate but dangerous. Lucas's jaw clenched. Nora wasn't just running, she was fighting back. Keep tracking her, he told Riley. I need to know her next move. At Elise Morrow's office, the USB's contents played on her laptop. Nora's voice filled the room, chillingly casual. Lucas is too caught up in his startup. He'll forgive anything if I cry hard enough. The video showed her and Jace, glasses clinking, his arm around her. Lucas's stomach churned, but he stayed silent as Elise paused the footage. This is a slam dunk, Elise said, her eyes gleaming. Infidelity documented, with no wiggle room. The fraud ties? That's our ace. We can push for a clean divorce, no alimony, no assets. If she fights, we leak her role in Jace's scheme to her firm. She'll cave. Lucas nodded. I want this done fast. No games. Mediation's Wednesday, Elise replied. Nora's already claiming half the condo and spousal support. Let's see her face when we drop this. The mediation room was cold, a polished table between Lucas and Nora. She sat across, her posture rigid, eyes avoiding his. Her lawyer, Victor Lang, a slick man with a cheap suit, launched into his pitch. Mrs. Hart has been a dedicated spouse, integral to the marital home. She's entitled to half the assets and ongoing support. Lucas's gaze bored into Nora. Dedicated, he said, his voice cutting. That's a stretch. Elise slid a folder to Victor. We have evidence of Mrs. Hart's affair with Jace Warner, including video and audio from the Fairmont Olympic dated Friday. We also have texts proving she knew about Mr. Warner's financial misconduct at their firm and failed to report it. Nora's face drained of color. Victor fumbled with the folder, his confidence cracking. This, we weren't aware. We'll need time, eh? No delays, Elise cut in. Mrs. Hart can sign a no-fault divorce, waive all claims, and walk away, or we go to court. The evidence becomes public and her employer gets a copy. Her choice. Nora's eyes flashed with panic. Lucas, you can't do this. It was one mistake. One. Lucas leaned forward, his voice steady but fierce. You planned it, Nora. You laughed about manipulating me. You hid Jace's crimes. You thought I'd roll over. You miscalculated. Her voice broke, desperate. I only got close to Jace because you were never around. You were obsessed with work, Lucas. I was lonely. Elise smirked. The footage doesn't show loneliness, Mrs. Hart. It shows you mocking my client's trust. Want us to play it for the mediator? Victor whispered urgently to Nora, who slumped, defeated. Fine, she muttered. I'll sign. Just end this. As they left, Lucas felt a weight lift, but Riley's next call froze him. Nora's not done, she said. She's been meeting with a shady PI, trying to hack your emails. She's looking for leverage to drag this out. Lucas gripped his phone, anger flaring. Nora wasn't just a cheater, she was a schemer, clawing to ruin him. His revenge had been clean, legal, but now it needed to be ironclad. Get me everything, he told Riley. Every email, every call. I want her cornered. Back at the condo, Lucas replayed Nora's mediation plea. I was lonely. It was a lie, a performance. The USB's audio haunted him, her laughter, her certainty he'd forgive her. But Riley's warning about the PI was a new low. Nora was digging her own grave, and Lucas would make sure she fell into it. Lucas Hart stood in his Seattle condo, the Puget Sound shimmering under a gray dawn. The mediation had cornered Nora, her signature on the no-fault divorce a hard-won victory. The USB drive, loaded with evidence of her affair with Jace Warner and her complicity in his embezzlement, sat locked in a safe. But Riley Voss's latest report had ignited a new fire. Nora was scheming, hiring a shady PI to hack Lucas's emails and dig up dirt. Her betrayal wasn't just personal, it was a calculated war. Lucas's revenge, legal and precise, now demanded an unyielding defense. Riley's call came at noon, her voice clipped. Nora's spiraling. She's in a cheap motel in Tacoma, clinging to Jace, but his fraud's unraveling. His firm's audit pinned him $200,000 siphoned from client accounts. He's facing charges. Nora's been suspended from her job for not blowing the whistle. Lucas exhaled, the news a strange mix of vindication and disgust. Nora's world was collapsing, but her desperation made her dangerous. She's still digging? Lucas asked, pacing his kitchen. Big time, Riley said. Her PI's sloppy, though. I intercepted emails she's trying to frame you for tax evasion, claiming you hid startup income. It's a bluff, but she's pushing hard. I've got her PI's name and their meeting spots. Want me to keep tailing? Yes, Lucas said. Nail her. I need every move documented. At his startup, Lucas buried himself in code reviews, his focus a shield against the chaos. His team noticed his edge, sharper decisions, longer hours. A client, Ms. Eleanor Price, a retired exec from Portland, stopped by to discuss a software contract. You're driven, Lucas, she said, smiling. Come to my Portland vineyard this weekend. My nephew's visiting. Good kid, sharp. You'd hit it off. Lucas hesitated. Socializing felt like a distraction, but Eleanor was a key client. Sounds great, he said, forcing enthusiasm. A break might clear his head. Portland's vineyard was lush, the air crisp with autumn. Eleanor's barbecue buzzed with warmth, family, friends, and the clink of wine glasses. Lucas was sipping a Pinot Noir when a man bumped into him, nearly spilling his drink. Easy, tech guy, the man teased, his hazel eyes glinting. Quinn Price, Eleanor's nephew, was 33, a freelance journalist with a quick laugh and a sharp mind. Aunt Eleanor says you're some startup hotshot. Sell me on why I should stick around this party. Lucas grinned, caught off guard. Good wine, better views, and I'm here to keep you from wrecking more drinks. Quinn laughed, and their banter flowed, his would a welcome escape. But when Quinn mentioned his ex, a cheater who'd ghosted him, Lucas tensed. Betrayal's a gut punch, Quinn said, his tone softening. You ever been there? Yeah, Lucas admitted, Nora's laugh from the Fairmont footage echoing. Worst kind. But I'm moving past it. Quinn nodded, clinking his glass. To fresh starts then. Back in Seattle, Lucas's phone buzzed with a voicemail from Nora, her voice brittle. Lucas, I messed up. Jace is a disaster, and I'm stuck in Tacoma with nothing. Can we talk? Please. Lucas deleted it, his resolve iron. She'd chosen Jace, mocked his trust. Her regrets were hers alone. Riley's next update was a bombshell. Jace is done, she said. Arrested this morning, embezzlement, wire fraud. Nora's not charged, but her firm fired her for negligence. She's broke, maxing out credit cards. And her PI? He's feeding her fake dirt to keep her paying. She's got nothing on you. Lucas leaned back, the news sinking in. Nora's empire of lies was dust. Her arrogance, her schemes, all undone by her own choices. He felt no sympathy, only closure. But Riley wasn't finished. One more thing, she's been emailing Jace's lawyer, trying to cut a deal to save herself. She's offering to testify against him for immunity. Lucas's eyes narrowed. She's turning on Jace? Looks like it, Riley said. She's a cornered animal. Keep your guard up. Quinn's texts started lighting up Lucas's phone, playful and warm. Portland's dull without you, he wrote. Seattle got any decent bars? Lucas smiled, surprised by the spark. He invited Quinn to visit, and days later, Quinn arrived, his energy filling the condo. Over burgers at a Fremont dive, Quinn pushed. "You're tough, Lucas, but you're guarded. Scared of getting burned again?" Lucas met his gaze, the question piercing. "Maybe. But you're different." "I'm trying." Quinn grinned, nudging him. "Good. I'm not here to play games." Their connection deepened, cautious but genuine. Quinn's honesty, his refusal to hide his scars, was a stark contrast to Nora's deceit. One evening, as they watched ferries glide across the Sound, Quinn took Lucas's hand. "I'm not her," he said quietly. "And you're not my ex. Let's see where this goes." Lucas nodded, a flicker of hope igniting. Nora's shadow was fading, replaced by something real. Lucas Hart leaned against the railing of his Seattle balcony, the city's lights dancing on the Puget Sound. The divorce was final, Nora's web of lies had collapsed, and Jace Warner was locked away for embezzlement. The suffocating pain of betrayal had faded, replaced by a quiet strength. Quinn Price, the quick-witted journalist from Portland, had become his beacon, his humor and honesty washing away Nora's shadows. Tonight, Lucas was hosting a small gathering at his condo, a celebration of resilience and renewal. Inside, Quinn arranged a tray of local oysters and microbrews, his hazel eyes glinting with mischief. "Caught you staring, Hart," he teased, flicking a lime wedge at Lucas. "What's cooking in that tech brain?" Lucas dodged, laughing. "Just thinking you make this place feel like mine again." Quinn's grin softened and he brushed Lucas's hand, a silent promise. Their connection, forged through shared scars of betrayal, was a foundation Lucas hadn't dared hope for. Quinn's candor was a stark contrast to Nora's deceit, and every moment with him felt like a gift. The doorbell rang, and Lucas's mother, Diane, stepped in with her partner, Sam, her smile radiant. "You're glowing, son," she said, hugging him tightly. Her escape from Lucas's father's infidelity had shaped his resolve, and now she saw her courage reflected in him. "You didn't let her break you," she murmured, her eyes misty. Lucas's chest tightened. "You showed me how to fight, Mom. That's everything." Friends from the startup filled the condo, their laughter a warm hum. Tara, Lucas's colleague, raised a glass. To Lucas, who slayed a dragon and found a spark. The room cheered and Quinn winked, nudging him. "Spark, huh? Better keep the fire going, tech guy." Lucas laughed, the weight of the past months lifting. But his mind flickered to Nora's final act, a desperate move that had sealed her fate. Riley Voss's last report had landed at dawn. Nora was back in Seattle, scraping by in a rundown motel near Seattle-Tacoma. Her career was in ruins, her firm had blacklisted her, and Jace's conviction left her a pariah. She'd sent a handwritten note, left in Lucas's mailbox. "I destroyed us, Lucas. I thought I could have Jace and keep you on a leash. I was wrong. Please, one call." Lucas had torn it up, her pleas meaningless. Her choices had carved her path. Riley's final bombshell had stunned him. "Nora tried to play dirty," she'd said. "She paid a hacker to breach your startup servers, looking for financial discrepancies to pin on you. It backfired. My contact at your firm caught the attempt. Nora's name's on the payment trail." Lucas had exhaled, almost amused. Nora's desperation had tripped her into a legal quagmire. Her hacker was now cooperating with authorities, and Nora faced potential charges for attempted cybercrime. At the gathering, Quinn sensed Lucas's brief drift and squeezed his arm. "You okay?" he asked, voice low. Lucas nodded, meeting his gaze. "Just burying the past. I'm here with you. That's what counts." Quinn's smile was a lifeline, grounding Lucas. Quinn had his own ghosts, an ex who cheated and vanished, but his choice to trust again inspired Lucas to do the same. As the night unfolded, Diane pulled Lucas aside. "I lingered with your dad too long, hoping for change," she said. "You didn't. You're stronger than I was." Lucas hugged her, her words mending old wounds. "You taught me to stand tall, Mom. That's enough." Guests trickled out, leaving Lucas and Quinn to clean up, their banter easy. "So, what's the plan, Hart?" Quinn asked, wiping down the counter. "I'm not one for grand gestures, but I'm in this." "You." Lucas set down a dish, facing him. "All in. No secrets, just us." Quinn's eyes sparkled, and he pulled Lucas into a kiss, the future alive in his touch. They stepped onto the balcony, the Sound shimmering under a crescent moon. Lucas raised his beer. "To starting over," he said. Quinn clinked his bottle. "To us." They drank, the stars a canvas of possibility. Nora's betrayal had nearly shattered him, but it had also set him free. Her lies, Chase's crimes, the mediation battle, they were ghosts now, fading against Quinn's warmth. The next day, Lucas drove to his startup, Quinn's indie playlist pulsing through the speakers. A final text from Riley arrived. "Nora's facing charges, cybercrime attempt. She's left Seattle for good. You're free." Lucas deleted it, his focus on the horizon. The startup buzzed ahead, his team waiting, but his heart was with Quinn, their next adventure, the life they'd build. Nora's ruin was her own making, a consequence of her choices. Lucas's story, vibrant with hope, was just beginning, a saga of strength, love, and a heart reclaimed.